Saudi Arabia has been a rock star in the oil world, but now many competitors are joining the ranks with more and more production. Also, electric energy is proving itself as the perfect alternative to oil, putting downward pressure on its demand. So it seems like the Saudi economy is in danger, as it is mostly oil-based. But Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has other plans to cope with it. He is shifting its focus to other sectors of the economy, specifically the services sector. So he is investing in sports, hosting mega events, and even buying established groups in different sectors. However, some people are not happy with the Gulf money coming into sports. They believe the Saudis are using this tool to hide their face from the bad deeds they're doing. So why is Saudi Arabia spending so much on sports, and why are some people upset about it? Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out. But before we move forward, we request you to subscribe to our channel for future videos. Let's go back in time to 1933. That's when the Saudi Arabian government made a deal with the Standard Oil Company. This led to them finding oil fields in the country. Fast forward to 1960, a bunch of oil-rich countries formed a group called OPEC, and Saudi Arabia was one of the founding fathers. Then, in 1973, during the oil crisis, the Saudi economy went from being worth around $15 billion to a whopping $184 billion by 1981. But they kinda got hooked on oil. It became their main thing. From the 1970s, Saudi officials started thinking, hey, we should try other ways to make money too. Now, remember, they still have a lot of oil, like 16% of all the oil in the world. But the amount of oil they have is getting smaller, and the price of oil keeps going up and down like a roller coaster. This means they have to work really hard to make their money system even stronger and not just depend on oil. So this led to the announcement of Saudi Vision 2030 by Mohammed bin Salman in April 2016. Now this plan had three fundamentals: a vibrant society, a thriving economy, and an ambitious nation. To help make this plan happen, there's a state sovereign wealth fund called the Public Investment Fund, PIF, which has around $620 billion inside. That's a whole lot of money. Investing in sports, both nationally and globally, has been marked as a key part of the plan. Before this plan, Saudi Arabia wasn't very into sports, but that was going to change really fast. From the start of 2021 till now, Saudi Arabia used around $6.3 billion on sports stuff. That's way more than 4 times the money they spent in the past 6 years. They put money into lots of different sports, but there are two things that stand out. First, they bought a famous soccer team, Newcastle United, in the Premier League. Second, they supported the breakaway golf league, LIV Golf. Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, teamed up with a group led by Amanda Staveley to buy the Newcastle club. They paid around $409 million for it. The PIF owns 80% of the club. Oh, and the person who runs the PIF, Yasser bin Othman Al Rumayyan, is also in charge of a huge oil company called Aramco. Now, when they took over Newcastle, the PIF's boss also became head of the club. Just like that, Newcastle went from being a regular team to the richest one in all of soccer. They were worth around £320 billion. Only Qatar's investment authority, which owns Paris Saint-Germain, comes kinda close, with around £220 billion. After buying the team, they started spending a lot on new players. They went up by a huge 234% in spending compared to the year before. They used around $150 million just for players since the last season started. People are thinking, hey, if Manchester City got really good after being bought in 2008, maybe Newcastle can do the same in the Premier League. Saudi Arabia isn't only buying foreign clubs, they're also bringing famous players to their own country. The star footballer Cristiano Ronaldo came to Saudi Arabia in 2023 and joined Al Nassr FC. And he's not the only one. Karim Benzema, another big name, joined him too. Benzema left Real Madrid and joined Al Ittihad, a Saudi team. And last week, Neymar joined Al Hilal. He used to be in Paris Saint-Germain, but now he's in Saudi Arabia. The deal to bring him here could be worth as much as €100 million. But wait, there's more. N'Golo Kante, who's played for Chelsea and won big in the Premier League, Champions League and the World Cup, also joined Al Ittihad. So it's like a group of amazing players coming to play in Saudi Arabia. Other than the players who already moved, there were some big offers made to soccer stars like Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Luka Modric and more, but they turned them down. Besides football, there's another big deal happening in golf. The PGA Tour, DP World Tour and the Public Investment Fund, PIF, have joined hands to make golf even more exciting all around the world. They're mixing their golf businesses and rights to make a new, collectively owned, profit entity to ensure that all stakeholders benefit from a model that delivers maximum excitement and competition among the game's best players. Saudi Arabia and the PIF have reportedly invested $2 billion into LIV Golf already and had aspirations of creating franchises and teams that could one day be sold. Just like with the soccer team Newcastle, this looks like a long-term plan too. But wait, there's more than just Newcastle, megastars and LIV Golf. They're spending money on lots of different sports and events too. They signed a deal with WWE for about $1 billion over 10 years. This means at least 2 wrestling events will happen in Saudi Arabia every year. They also made a deal with Formula One for $650 million. This deal will make sure there's a big race in Saudi Arabia called the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for the next 10 years. They didn't stop there. They outbid other places to host famous boxing matches, like the big fight between Anthony Johnson and Alexander Usyk cost them around $80 million. And before that, they paid $60 million to host another fight with Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. Saudi Arabia is also getting into the world of esports, and they're making big plans for this. In 2022, they started their own gaming group. Then they used about $1.05 billion to buy ESL Gaming. This is one of the biggest esports groups in the world. Not stopping there, they also bought Faceit, another big group that organizes gaming tournaments. Then they put these two groups together to make a new group called the ESL Faceit Group. They even got help from a group called Boston Consulting Group in the US. This group is checking out if Saudi Arabia can host the Football World Cup in 2030 or 2034, and they're thinking about hosting the Olympics too. But even though hosting the Olympics is a good goal for any country, some people have different thoughts about why Saudi Arabia is getting so involved in sports around the world and investing so much money. Some people believe that the huge amounts of money going into sports aren't just about making things better, but also about making Saudi Arabia look better on the world stage. This is called sports washing. It's like when someone or a country uses sports to make themselves seem nicer and more powerful. They do this by organizing fancy sports events or putting money into popular teams. They hope that everyone will focus on the good parts of sports and not notice other problems they might have. But some people say Saudi Arabia is using sports to hide some not so nice things they've been doing. There was a journalist named Jamal Khashoggi who got killed in 2017. Plus, they're not treating everyone fairly, like women and LGBTQ+ groups. And some people say they're being mean to certain religious groups too. Because of these issues, human rights groups are not happy about sports investments. They're especially not liking the takeover of Newcastle. One person from Amnesty International said that Saudi Arabia is trying to make their bad record look better with sports deals. But if we look from Saudi Arabia's side, they see these investments as part of their Vision 2030 plan. The sports minister, Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Faisal, thinks these events are making life better for their people and strengthening the economy. Still, some groups are unsure about the real reasons behind the investments. That's it for today. And now we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Do subscribe to the channel if you like our content. We will catch you in the next one.